shit. Nicholas K. Motherfuckers better know. This motherfucker hold his heat right, baby. All these motherfuckers better know.
When I started doing animation, the first thing I ever animated was, I called it Office Space. It was Milton and what became Lumbergh in the movie. Milton, when I did the animated one, was loosely based on my first engineering job. There was this guy, he's kind of an odd guy. As I recall, he had a mail-order bride from, I think, the Philippines, and no one ever talked to him, and one day I was just kind of bored. I went over and just said, hey, how's it going? And he just launched into this thing about how he was going to quit because they moved his desk 3 times. I just recorded a monologue of myself doing Milton, the thing about moving the desk, and I animated that, and that became my first short.
Yeah, that would be terrific. Well...
When Gary Cole came in and read, that was a good day, because I was on the fence about making the movie. He came in and read, and I was just like, oh my God, if nothing else, if I get this guy on camera doing that character, that'll be worth it.
I'm also gonna need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday, too, okay?
I was really happy with the cast I got.
My Lumbergh was based on a rip-off of the cartoon, which basically was a rip-off of Mike Judge. So I went in and did my greatest, attempt at an imitation of Mike Judge.
At that time there was a lot of people doing films and stuff with an Indian character or a Middle Eastern character or a guy from there. And we talked a little bit about how it was important to make Samir really specific. So we talked about Jordan.
I would relax, I would sit on my ass all day, I would do nothing.
I think Peter's trying to figure it all out. When I read the script, the thing that jumped out was, here's a guy that's like constantly searching for answers.
I was asking what you were doing for lunch. Would you like to have lunch with me?
Every time he finds one, he's sure that he's found, the key to nirvana, and he throws himself in it wholeheartedly.
I just came to get my address book. I'm not gonna stay. I got a phone number, Mike, that I don't want to lose. What?
And then when it doesn't work out, it doesn't deter him from, throwing himself wholeheartedly into the next one, Where all of a sudden being a construction worker is gonna be,
He is like so pure. You know what I mean? And so awesome and such of a handsome, real guy. He's completely sticking up for like the ugly guys and like completely sticking up for his friends.
So you're gonna fire Michael and Samir and you're gonna give me more money?
And you want to be like, yeah, man, lead me. He's the president.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of being pushed around. Aren't you?
Yes, Peter. But I'm not going to do anything illegal.
Illegal? Samir, this is America.
Honestly, I kind of saw my job on this one as kind of being a bus driver a little bit. You just drive to the next stop and open the door and somebody funny gets on. And
I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna lose it.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
I sort of felt like Peter's job was to kind of get the audience from this scene to that scene, and then it was other people's jobs to come in and like make the scenes great.
The 7-Eleven, right? You'd take a penny from the tray.
From the crippled children?
No, that's the jar. I'm talking about the tray. The pennies for everybody.
Oh, for everybody. Okay.
Fight Club would be the movie that Peter Gibbons in his head he thinks he's in.
Started living for the Lord and I last. Now all I gotta say to you, one of you is gonna be crumb snatching, coochie eating pranksters.
I love Kung Fu.
Channel 39.
Totally.
You should come over and watch Kung Fu tonight.
Okay.
The character, I was thinking of these girls who, beautiful loser types. They hung out in the smoking area in high school and got a job.
Everything to Joanna is just like, huh, okay, that's great. She's a little bit of a stoner chick.
Not very ambitious.
I thought it was really smart of her not to play her as, the blow-drying glamour queen.
You know what, Stan? If you want me to wear 37 pieces of flair like your pretty boy over there, Brian, why don't you just make the minimum 37 pieces of flair?
But she's just basically, a really sweet, pretty girl that works over there and is trying to work out her own stuff.
I do want to express myself, okay? And I don't need 37 pieces of flair to do it.
It was probably tough for her because these expectations, you know, and I didn't really think about it going in it because I'd met her before, and she was really pretty low key in person. And so when I put her in this, I hadn't really prepared myself for how much attention it would draw to just that. Oh, what's she playing? What, you know, every question being about her.
Oh, I just don't know if this was such a good idea.
Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't such a good idea for you to sleep with Lumberg.
What? What are you... Oh, right, Lumberg.
She's this because, you know, she's like, oh, she's the star. And then, you know, she brings us up to her. You know, we come with her, but she didn't approach it like that. She approached it like we were all very dignified, hardcore players.
Oh, I love being part of an ensemble. I love it. There's so much to play off of, and especially this movie, the characters are so bizarre and distinct and fun.
What do you think of a person who only does the bare minimum?
Amazing, amazing timing, and it's the kind of timing, you know, Mary Tyler Moore too. It's the kind of timing where it's not real show-offy. You know what I mean? It's just like things fall.
How dare you judge me? I mean, what are you? You think you're some kind of, like, angel here? No, you're just this penny-stealing, wannabe criminal man.
It's hard to be in a scene with her and not be funny.
She's really hot, but she also looks like a girl that you could believe would live in your neighborhood or went to your high school. She's got domestic hotness.
I was a little starstruck, to be honest. I hid it for about 2 days. I kept it real cool for about 2 days of rehearsal, you know? And then I caved, then I cracked.
Hey, Peter, man! Check out Channel 9!
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly what I need. Uh-huh. Yeah, give it to me. Come on, you little fucker. Let's go. That's what I need. Let's do that. Let's do exactly that, you little fuck.
I love when he's playing angry, and he's also just good at, you know, he can be a good kind of weenie guy. And
I must have put a decimal point in the wrong place or something. Shit, I always do that. I always mess up some mundane detail.
There really isn't an office that doesn't have that guy, right? I mean, or several of those guys. I mean, especially the worse the conditions are, the more somebody's got to be like, I'm so much better in this place. I mean, he should have his own software company at the very least. And he believes he's right at that moment too.
He always gives you something really realistic. His instincts are so good. He's not going to allow himself to do anything hacky.
Here it is. To conceal the source of money as by channeling it through an intermediary.
He's insanely brilliant, and his contradictions are inherent in the way he plays. You know what I mean? He's always playing this but that.
Anyway, let's get down to business, Michael. You know, you can just call me Mike.
All his backbone, all his convictions, just out the window. Out the window. He's just got to eat it all.
I told those fudge packers I like Michael Bolton's music.
I never thought of him as a nerd. I really focused on his anger.
PC load letter? What the fuck does that mean?
Every time that the Case of the Mondays woman would walk by, I'd be giving her the finger and stuff like that. And I think none of that made it in, but there was a lot of stuff on the fringes.
Bolton doesn't give a shit anyway. You know what I mean? That kid's a full-on gangster.
I've got my pistol point cocked, ready to link shots non-stop until I see your monkey ass drop.
So, like, you know, if he wears these short shirts and these weird nerdy kind of ties and stuff like that, I don't think he's even really thinking about what he's wearing. You know, I think he's thinking about how he wants to, like, be down.
Yeah, well, I work at Initech and I don't consider myself a pussy, okay?
Yes, I am also not a pussy.
Fact, they're gonna find out the hard way that I'm not a pussy if they don't start treating their software people better.
I can't believe they have security escort us out. Like we're going to steal something.
Samir knows that he's been dogged out. He inherently has this thing against the company, too. Just like everyone there, looking for a chance, viciously looking for a chance to screw it back to them.
One of these days, I just kick this piece of shit out the window.
So I always thought Samir was a really cool cat who wants to, like, really make good in America. You know, I'll tell you what I'd do if I had that money. You know, I call my friends. His real big contradiction in the movie is that, like, you know, he's not gonna do the scam unless he gets to have sex.
I have a question.
Yes.
In these conjugal visits, you can have sex with women?
Yep, you sure can.
Okay, I'll do it. Shit! This is a fuck! Son of a... I bitch shit!
Jay is a brilliant guy. He actually grew up in, I think, mostly Chicago. And he's like a hip-hop guy. He's part of a hip-hop group. He breakdances.
I've always been a breakdancer. I've always been like a raver and a houser. And so he's like, can you please do something in the movie? And I was like, oh, I don't know if Samir would. He's like, no, man, Samir would do it. You know what I mean? Not only that, that's who he is, really.
Back up in your S with the resurrection.
Well, just a second there, Professor. We fixed the glitch.
He can be intimidating because he's always just, and that really worked for those scenes. When he says he loves Michael Bolton, you don't want to rain on his parade.
I love his music. I do. I'm a Michael Bolton fan. I celebrate the guy's entire catalog.
God, there's probably endless footage of him talking about, you know, Bolton's softball videos and Bolton's this, and like he just goes, yeah, I celebrate the whole catalog.
Have you had a chance to pick up the opera album yet? Stunning. Yeah. Very emotional. I dare you to listen to that song and not cry. And not cry. Not gonna happen. Could I let you all in on a crazy thing? I love Michael Bolton so much that a couple years ago when the How to Hit for Power softball video came out, I snagged it. I love the haircut. I love the way he's taken his career. I'm gonna say something right now, and I mean every syllable of it. I think he's one of the most significant performers on the planet, outright. He's the man. It's out of sight.
The thing that's funny is McGinley actually talks like that. He'll say, I celebrate. He came back a second time to read with the other guy, and he was just like, let's fucking shoot this thing. Come on, let's do it. Like, yeah, give me the part. And he was on the plane flying down to Austin. He's like, I can hardly wait to get down there and just beat the shit out of those little punks. They're talking about the David Herman and talking about doing the scene, and he's just, you know, he's one of those actors that just can't wait for the camera to roll. He just wants to go do it.
There's an element of danger that that's why, you know, that's why Oliver Stone, I think, just utilized McGinley so much.
What would you say you do here?
He's got a living snake up his ass. He's got a living snake. He's just like charged.
Yeah, that little thing. He kind of, we noticed that. You know, when we were editing, we were very careful to put that little thing he does in there. He's just got all this anger and he's trying to control it.
The pleasure's all on this side of the table, trust me.
Hey, Peter, man! Check out Channel 9, check out this chick!
Hey, man. Dietrich and I, as soon as we started talking about the character, he always got it. Like, we, in rehearsal, actually added some stuff he came up with. We didn't have a lot of time to rehearse. He came that day, and we rehearsed for a few minutes, half hour maybe before we shot. But in that time, came up with a lot of good stuff, like the thing with he's got his own opener.
That's all right, I got it.
I think the stuff about take a look at my cousin, that was added.
Well, you don't need $1 million to do nothing, man. Take a look at my cousin. He's broke, don't do shit.
The thing that I love that he does so perfectly is this thing that guys do when they come to your house to, like a plumber or whatever, they do this kind of, what I went ahead and did was, I went ahead and replaced the whole unit, okay? He does it a little bit when he says,
Yeah, I'm doing the drywall up there at the new McDonald's.
He did that, and he also got perfectly the two chicks at the same time.
I'll tell you what I'd do, man. 2 chicks at the same time, man.
Eventually, yeah, we ended up thinking that the best way to go is that he's really sincere. He cares about him. That's his dumb advice.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Okay, Lawrence.
It's kind of scary when I think, you know, a lot of these guys I found at the last second.
You used to be addicted to crack?
Yeah.
Make sure you wear rubber, dude. Rubber, dude.
We always like to avoid confrontation whenever possible.
I'm very sorry. I do not know anything about any money laundering.
Did you get that memo?
All right, Peter.
Seems to be working now.
Kick someone's ass or become someone's bitch.
Wow, that's messed up. I was late again. I was beeping there.
Milton Wadhams.
Who's he? You know, squirrely-looking guy, mumbles a lot.
I didn't see a whole movie in just the Milton character because he's one of those types of characters where you kind of don't want to know what happens when he's at home, and you know, it's kind of funnier if you just get the tip of the iceberg.
Could you turn that down just a little bit?
Well, I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume from 9 to 11.
Yeah, no, I know you're allowed to.
And I begged him to do one line that I came up with that I thought was the core of Milton's character, which was, and the squirrels, they were married.
I used to be over by the window and I could see the squirrels and they were married.
Which described two squirrels fucking, but that's how he could explain life. I think Milton perceives himself as a perfectionist, and yet his outward appearance is slovenly. If you look on the tie, there's stains all over the tie. Probably the guy has 2 shirts, and he wears them 3 days.
Now, Milton, don't be greedy.
Okay, but last time I didn't receive a piece, and I was told that
Just
I could have...
pass.
Okay.
He's an invisible nuisance that must be tolerated because he's a human on the planet, but it's like one of those guys, and then you go on to do something else because he takes up space, and he's not a bad human being to them. I don't consider Milton over the top at all. I think it's one of my subtlest roles, actually. Even though it's a big character, it's done really small.
But I said I don't care if they lay me off either, because I told Bill that if they move my desk one more time, then I'm quitting. I'm going to quit. And I told Dom too, because they've moved my desk 4 times already this year.
The glasses literally were this thick. They were this thick. I couldn't see out of them without having contacts behind the thick glass. So I had contacts, the thick glasses, and the depth perception there was none. So anytime I had to reach for anything, I had to practice it because I couldn't tell whether it was here or it was here.
No, that's really not my job, and I haven't received my paycheck this week.
For now, why don't you go ahead and get yourself a flashlight and a can of pesticide.
Excuse me. Excuse me. But, okay, but that's the last straw.
Hello, Peter. Peter, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hi, Milton. Peter, what's happening? Hi, Milton. Milton.
Yes.
What's happening?
You know, is basically always on some kind of chemical that, you know, won't allow him to go too quickly.
You're gonna have to talk to payroll about that. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
He's either in control or maybe just slightly puzzled, you know, by the fact that somebody doesn't understand something.
Now, are you going to go ahead and have those TPS reports for us this afternoon?
No.
Yeah.
But just the fact that human beings are trained in the work world to not have to listen to, you know, we're not listening. You listen to me, and I just keep telling you what to do. It turns into Nazism.
I don't really think he cares about what anybody thinks of him, because he knows that they can't do anything to him or challenge his authority. And that's when Peter does, I think it just kind of stops Lumbergh's brain.
Look, I'm gonna have to ask you to go ahead and just come back another time. I got a meeting with the Bobs in a couple of minutes.
I wasn't aware of a meeting with them.
Yeah, they called me at home.
That sounds good, Peter. And we'll go ahead and get this all fixed up for you.
In the cartoon, I love the moment where Milton asks him something, and the cartoon version of Lumbergh went, ooh.
Ooh, that's gonna be kind of tight on the overtime.
And so I said, Mike, can I put the ooh in that scene?
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
The Tchotchkes manager, I ended up playing myself just because I had added that part late.
We need to talk about your flair.
I was in a Kinko's once, and I saw this guy, he had those kind of glasses and a mustache, and a real prick, I could tell. This girl working there, a really young girl, had a Diet Coke over here, and he comes by, and he's just kind of like, I want you to move that Coke. And then she's like, oh, why? And he goes, because I don't like it there. I like it over here.
People can get a cheeseburger anywhere, okay? They come to Tchotchkes for the atmosphere and the attitude.
Atmosphere and the attitude.
Mike has what you call fuck you money, right? So it's like when they say, no, listen, we want you, you really have to change that. He has the ability to say, fuck you, I'm not gonna do that.
I think Mike would have done it without the money too. That's what makes Mike badass, and that he should continue to do that. He's sitting on so much good material right now that if he sprung on anyone, I mean, like what he's actually holding back right now, you know, most comedic directors would just be destroyed and like writhing on the ground. The dude has tons of back files of stuff that will keep you in stitches for like, you know, years on end. I've seen what Mike collects. You know, his like private video file is like, oh, you can't bust him out. He's mad funny.
The Lumbergh thing was sort of my shtick for a while. I used to do that to our guitar player. He had injured his wrist or something, and so he was always asking me to help him carry his amp, and I would just always do this, yeah, I always love the passive-aggressive yeah that means no, where someone asks you for something, you yeah.
Mike tends to write the way that people spontaneously talk, and so it seems like they're spontaneously talking.
I was actually writing, yeah.
Maybe another yeah here and maybe a
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
I know Dave Herman put in the ass clown phrase.
Do you know how that got coined? I mean, because he couldn't say no talent. He couldn't say Michael Bolton was a no...
We can't call him a no-singing...
No talent...
Asshole.
Non-singing asshole.
And the night before, I was out on a date with the woman who would someday become my ex-wife, and she had used the word ass clown out of nowhere. Because I was, you know, this had just recently happened, I was like, how about ass clown? And we just kind of fit it in there, and I love it. Yeah, well, at least your name isn't Michael Bolton.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that name.
There was nothing wrong with it until I was about 12 years old, and that no-talent ass clown became famous and started winning Grammys.
Well, why don't you just go by Mike instead of Michael?
No way. Why should I change? He's the one who sucks. I kind of know exactly what that is, but what the hell is an ass clown? I think there really is a release during that scene for everyone. That, you know, it's just like everybody knows that inanimate object that has like become so real and so much the object of hatred.
Back up in your ass with the resurrection. Is the group harder than an erection that shows no affection? They want a man us on Capitol Hill, 'cause it's die, motherfuckers, die, motherfuckers.
Mobsters have come up to me and said, you know, I love the way you did the printer. You know, it was very authentic. We had a guy there I remember who was like, you know, a tough stunt guy. You know, he's like, yeah, don't touch your friends with your hands. Use the bat to move them out of the way.
Spineless, I'm going insane. Okay, my mind just goes out of control and touch on subjects, motherfuckers, freedom. I touch on this, you fuckers still fool. Die, motherfuckers, die, motherfuckers still. Die, motherfuckers, die, motherfuckers still fool. Die, motherfuckers, die, motherfuckers.
In fact, I remember there being a moment where they were looking to try to get a PG-13, and I was like, no way. You know, I was like, no way. No way. I was like, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna curse up a blue streak in this movie. The fuck does that mean? Piece of shit. Come on, little fucker, let's go. The fuck is that?
I'm an asshole. Nobody hangs up on me.
This is a fuck.
Become someone's bitch.
You guys can both eat my ass, okay?
But then they switched from the swing line to the Boston stapler, but I kept my swing line stapler because it didn't bind up as much.
I wanted it to be a bright enough color that it would stand out, that you would notice it. Swingline didn't make red staplers, so art department painted it.
They had 4 for the film. They burned one up, one for my desk, couple of backups. I stole a backup So I've got one.
I guess Swingline, people kept calling in Swingline to try to order red staplers, and they say we don't make them, and they'd say, what about the one in the movie? And then people were selling these bootleg Swingline red staplers on eBay and making a lot of money, and so Swingline started making one, and now it's their top-selling stapler.
Oh, there it is.
What?
Here, let me just go ahead and get that from you. Great.
The way it played out was this very sort of, very kung fu path of least resistance, where I just kind of sort of just, angled right around him. That was one of my favorite bits to do. And believe it or not, we probably shot that thing 8 or 9 times to get the walking past him with the that just looked like he wasn't even really there.
So, Peter, what's happening? Listen,
who this movie's important to are people entering into that world, about to walk the plank into those passive-aggressive workspaces, or people who are already waist deep in it.
It saves people's ass at work. I think that a lot of people have to deal with exactly what office-based people are dealing with.
This isn't really a workplace comedy. It's kind of it's a comedy about authority.
But I think Office Space touched the soft underbelly of corporate America. There's really nothing like it.
People are always trying to convince me. They're trying to convince me how important the movie is. They're generally going you don't understand. It's not just my office that speaks in Office Space speak. It's the entire office plaza. Or it's very different. It's like they feel like they've found this movie and nobody else knows about it. And it's like, oh my God, this is. Nothing feels better than that. That you're actually mirroring someone's life like that.
Fucking A.
Fucking A.
Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? I came by here yesterday around 10 o'clock, and you weren't here. Yeah, I was just sort of wondering where you were.
Yeah, I must have been in the bathroom.
Yeah. Actually, I went to the bathroom after I came by here, and I didn't see you in there.
I suppose I must have been in one of the stalls.
Yeah. You weren't wearing wingtips, were you?
I don't remember.
Well, if you could just go ahead and let us know if you're going to be gone for any length of time, that would be great. Things are going to be getting kind of tight around here. Okay?
Just another picture, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank God it's Friday, huh?
I'm sorry, Tom. Did you want another order of extreme fajitas?
Do you guys ever wonder what would happen if you just stopped working?
You'd be a street person.
No, not necessarily, all right? Now think about it. If I just stopped going to work, all right, I could probably last a couple of months before I ran out of money. I could live off my credit cards for another 4 months after that. It takes at least 6 months to evict somebody, all right? And at least another 2 months after that before they come and physically remove me from the apartment, okay? So I could last over a year.
Yeah. Then you'd be a street person.
Yeah, but I would have over a year to come up with some way to make a whole bunch of money. Could you please, for the love of God, just once answer the phone differently? Or just put the accent somewhere else? Like corporate accounts payable. Or just, hello, corporate accounts, please hold. Whatever happened to please hold? Just a moment, just a moment, just a moment. Hold on a second. Anything, a little variety. Could you do that, please? Because that would make the next 20 years of my life just that much less odious. and I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that's odd. I hadn't noticed the spelling of your last name before. It ends in an S-K-I. The absence of a Y and a suffix like that usually indicates a pretty mixed heritage. Maybe that's the problem we've been having. A really mixed cultural bag. Were your folks forced to change their name when they came over? Milton Wadhams, is it?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, Milton. I've been going over the employee roster, and I can't seem to find your name in it anywhere. Are you new here?
No, I've been working here for 15 years, and I didn't even receive a 10-year watch, and I was told that I would receive the
Boy,
watch.
that's odd.
Yes.
Have you received any checks lately?
Yes, but I worked overtime last month, and I did not receive compensation for that.
Wait, Peter. You gotta postpone it, man. Tell me you've been sick. Make something up.
Oh, no way, Michael. I feel great. This is the best day of my life.
Who's gotten into you? Did that hypnotherapist give you lobotomy?
No, actually, he died.
He died?
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Michael, 1 minute, he's looking into my eyes, just telling me to forget about all my worries, just relax and deeper. And then, well, he died, but in my head, something clicked, all right? And I realized something, Michael. We don't have a lot of time. We can't afford to waste it being miserable. Look at yourself, Michael. Look at him. Look at all of these people. Look what we've chosen to be with our...
All right, keep your voice down, okay? Because you sound like a Gen X coffeehouse dick right now. Look, if you want my advice, don't go in there. Tell Lumberg you've been really sick and buy some time until you can come up with a better story.
Oh, Michael. You're a good friend. Thank you. But I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a lot of fun. You guys go to Lumberg's funeral?
Shit, no.
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 Yeah, if you guys could just go ahead and sort of pick up the pace a little bit, that'd be great.
From Mike Judge, creator of Beavis and Butthead and co-creator of King of the Hill, comes a movie about people who go to work. Who are part of a team.
And remember, next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Okay, but I could set the building on fire.
Who respect their boss.
We need to talk about your flair.
Well, I have 15 pieces on.
15 is the minimum. Brian, for example, has 37 pieces of flair on today. And a terrific smile.
And need to escape.
I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
One of these days, I just kick this piece of...
I'm thinking now it might be more fun to just get fired. And I've always wondered what that would take.
Oh, Peter, listen.
Well, it looks like you've been missing quite a bit of work lately.
Well, I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
That's just a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
We're gonna be getting rid of these people here. Mr. Samir, not gonna work here anymore anyway.
You haven't been showing up and you get to keep your job.
Actually, I'm being promoted.
Thank you, Bob.
This is a suck.
They're gonna throw you out on the street so that Bill Lumberg's stock will go up. Ooh, it's completely unfair. Initech deserves to go down. We're just the guys to do it. Tell me about that virus you're always talking about. The one that could rip off the company for a bunch of money.
I'm not going to do anything illegal, Peter.
Illegal? Samir, this is America. The worst they're gonna do is they put you in a white-collar minimum security resort for a couple of months. You know they have conjugal visits there?
I might be showing her my O face.
Oh. They let you have sex with women?
They sure do.
Okay, I'll do it.
Office Space.
I know you've been getting pretty depressed about your job and everything, and so I just wanted to tell you, good things can happen in this world. I mean, look at me.